It began on an otherwise ordinary Sunday afternoon in Willow Creek, a quiet town where life usually moved with calm predictability. Inside the local supermarket, the atmosphere was lively but not overwhelming. The low murmur of conversations mixed with the squeak of carts gliding across polished tiles, and the occasional beep from checkout scanners. Amid the shoppers, few noticed a little girl in a bright pink dress holding the hand of a much larger man. To anyone passing by, it might have seemed like nothing more than a daughter shopping with her father. Yet, to anyone observant enough to truly look, especially at her eyes, the picture was far from ordinary. Her gaze wasn't filled with curiosity or joy like other children her age. Instead, her eyes seemed guarded, weighed down, and desperately pleading, as though she were crying for help without daring to make a sound. The moment that would change everything unfolded in the cereal aisle. Off-duty Officer Daniel Hayes, a veteran with 15 years of service, had stopped in to pick up groceries for his kids. As he scanned the shelves for his daughter's favorite cereal, something unusual caught his attention. A small hand lifted, not in the carefree wave of a child greeting someone, but in a subtle, deliberate motion. Palm open, fingers curled just slightly. The gesture lasted barely a second. To most, it would have gone unnoticed, dismissed as random movement. But Daniel had recently attended a seminar on child rescue signals, and he knew exactly what it meant. It was the silent sign for "help me." In that instant, Daniel's pulse hammered. He understood the urgency of what he'd just witnessed. Viewers, if you believe in compassion, second chances, and the importance of noticing small details that could save a life, I ask you to pause for just a moment. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to Limitless Truth. These stories remind the world to care. And sometimes, one act of awareness can alter the course of someone's destiny. Daniel's instincts switched on. Charging directly at the pair could have panicked the man and placed the girl in even greater danger. Instead, Daniel slowed his movements, pretending to browse the shelves while keeping them in his peripheral vision. The man holding her hand had rough tattoos etched up his arm, a cracked, faced watch on his wrist, and a grip that looked far more like possession than protection. The girl never spoke, never smiled. She only walked as he led her, with eyes that had silently called out to Daniel alone. Experience told Daniel that such encounters could spiral in seconds. Calm but cautious, he tapped his earpiece and sent a discreet code to dispatch possible abduction in progress. As the man headed toward the back of the store, Daniel trailed them carefully. Twice, the man looked over his shoulder, his pace quickening, his movements growing sharp and restless. The girl shuffled hesitantly, her tiny steps slowing as though she were trying to delay him without drawing attention. When they passed the freezer section, Daniel caught her gaze again. This time, those pleading eyes carried something new, a flicker of hope. Backup was on the way, but Daniel felt time slipping through his hands. The man's body language screamed urgency. He seemed desperate, like someone who knew his opportunity was vanishing. Minutes felt like hours as Daniel followed. They passed the dairy aisle, moving toward a side exit rarely used by customers. Daniel's mind raced. If they made it through that door, they could be in a vehicle and gone before help arrived. He needed to act, but without tipping the suspect off too soon. Positioning himself near a stack of soda cases, Daniel waited for the right second. The man's grip tightened on the girl's arm. She winced, her tiny body stumbling as she tried to keep up. Then, the critical moment. Just feet from the side door, the man tugged her forward faster. Daniel stepped in, his voice calm but commanding. "Police officer, stop right there." The man froze, his body stiffening like a coiled spring. For a breathless instant, the air was charged with possibility. Fight, flight, or surrender. The girl's chest rose and fell rapidly, her eyes darting between the two men. The man muttered something about a misunderstanding, but Daniel wasn't fooled. His presence was enough to stall, and then, backup arrived. Officers surrounded them in a seamless maneuver. The girl was gently pulled from the man's grip, and placed safely in Daniel's arms. He crouched down to her level and whispered that she was safe now. Only then did her composure break. Silent sobs shook her small frame, tears slipping down her cheeks as she clung to him. Later, the truth surfaced. The man wasn't her father, nor was he a relative. She had been abducted from a park in a neighboring town days earlier. Her parents had been living a nightmare, searching desperately, and fearing the worst. That supermarket encounter wasn't just luck. It was a miracle born of a simple signal and a watchful soul who recognized it. The next day, Daniel visited her family. When her mother opened the door and saw him standing there, she collapsed into his arms, repeating, "Thank you," through sobs. Behind her, the little girl peeked out, holding a stuffed bunny. She didn't say much, but she offered him something far more powerful than words. A smile. A small, genuine smile that told him she was beginning to believe in safety again. From that day forward, the story of the little girl in the pink dress spread throughout Willow Creek. A living reminder that awareness can save lives. Learning the signs, paying attention to the smallest details. These things can mean the difference between despair and hope. Officer Hayes knew he hadn't simply done his job that afternoon. He had answered one of the quietest cries for help. The kind so many never hear. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to Limitless Truth. Your support helps spread these life-changing stories, and who knows, your awareness might one day save someone's life. Before we close, I have a question for you. Would you have noticed that hand signal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might inspire someone else to pay closer attention when it matters most.